Do the Mario, swing your arms from side to side. Let's do the Mario all together now. Take one step and then again. Let's do the Mario all together now. Just like that.
Do the Mario, swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario, take one step and then again. Let's do the Mario all together now. Just like that.
Hola, Paisanos! This is the Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Show on Blast and the Past on YouTube.
Hey, Paisanos! It's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show!
Oh, it's me, Mario!
It's me, Mario! Hello!
But later on, I think 2 years later, Mortal Kombat by Paul W.S. Anderson, another video game adaptation, saved the world. It's a surprisingly good martial arts flick, with great fighting sequences, fighting scenes, and of course the titular song. And so on and so forth. But regarding the songs, so the first one, Roxette's Almost Unreal, goes a little bit like this. Hey, we can't stop the rain, let's find a place by the fire, so does I feel, as strange as it seems, you've been made my dreams of my life. I love when you do that hocus pocus to me. The way that you touch, you've got the power to heal. You give me the look, it's almost unreal. It's almost unreal. And the one, Walk the Dinosaur, it's something along these lines. Open the door, get on the floor, everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor, everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor, everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor, everybody kill the dinosaur.
It's not too late! He's got the rock! Get it later!
Hi there guys, I hope you're well. Welcome back to my channel called Blast and the Past. And this time I have something special. It's a really underappreciated gem, but I think that it has developed a cult following since the time of its infamous release. And of course I'm talking about the one and only Super Mario Bros. So Super Mario Brothers from 1993. Which was probably one of the first, if not the first, video game adaptations in Hollywood, and it flopped. It flopped infamously, notoriously, but that's another story. I'm very glad that I have a chance to review it on my channel because it holds a special place in my heart. I have a soft spot for it because I simply associate it with my childhood, the time when I was growing up. I had the Pegasus, which was a not so legal version of the NES system, and the Nintendo Entertainment System video game console, and Mario, the game, it was the thing. Especially the first one, it was a groundbreaking video game. And the film, well, it's something else, that's for sure. It's an acquired taste, but I can understand people who bash it, who criticize it, because especially if they are not nostalgic about it, but I am, and I'll always look at this film through red tinted glasses. So this is my take. Without further ado, buckle up and let's get ready to acquaint yourself with the dystopian Blade Runner-like vision of the future. So of course the setting is an obvious choice for the Super Mario Bros. Game adaptation. Why not? It makes perfect sense. Like I said, buckle up and let's get ready for a crazy ride. One week ago I had the pleasure of watching the German Blu-ray version, the release of this film, and actually it's very nice. So here is the front cover, Here is the spine, and here is the back cover. I also had somewhere the UK version, the edition, and they are similar in terms of the layout. It's great, because I think that the same layout, it must have been used with the VHS tapes, the format on which I saw it for the first time ever. I rented it from a local video rental shop. But coming back to this Blu-ray disc, since it's a German release, it features only the German subtitles, which unfortunately sometimes does happen. But at times, like the explosive media, they like to add the English subtitles as well. So it's great, but in this case, I'm an avid learner of German, so to me it's an added value to this otherwise good release anyway, because the picture quality is pretty stunning, astonishing.
Super Mario Bros. Das ist kein Spiel.
And I know that recently they've released the 4K version, and it has also some additional content, because I think that around 25 minutes of unused footage, which has been retrieved only recently. So that's a real treat for the fans of this film, and there are many fans of it. Although, like I've said, during the time of its premiere, it bombed completely at the box office. But I can't recommend enough this presentation. Of course, for those who don't know the German language, but they would like to have some comprehensible subtitles, the UK version is the way to go, unless you want to try the 4K version, which has been released recently.
Super Mario Brothers. This ain't no game.
But to me it was an added value, because I've seen this film numerous times, also the UK version, so I decided to give it a go with the German subtitles, why not? There is also the German dubbing featured there, but I haven't tested it, but probably it must be pretty hilarious for the non-native speakers of German, that's for sure, because I can't imagine Mario speaking German. That would be a pretty interesting additional extra feature of this otherwise crazy film anyway. And on the back cover of this German release, we have a short plot summary, so let me read it out to you guys for fun, why not? Mario und Luigi retten die Welt. Ein abgedrehtes Science-Fiction-Spektakel, basierend auf dem weltberühmten Videospiel. Der schüchterne New Yorker Klempner Luigi hat gerade die hübsche Daisy kennengelernt, als sie vom bösen King Koopa entführt wird. Mit seinem Bruder Mario eilt Luigi zu ihrer Rettung in der Parallelwelt Dinochaten. Das Schicksal der Menschheit steht auf dem Spiel, denn Koopa droht mit Hilfe eines Meteoritenstückes die beiden Welten zu verschmelzen, und das trägt ausgerechnet Daisy bei sich. Mit reichlich Humor und abgedrehten Waffen nehmen die beiden Klempner den Kampf gegen Koopas Arme auf. I hope that everything is clear. Ja? Alles klar? Ich hoffe, das ist. Alles klar? Ich hoffe, das ist. Dankeschön.
Sie sind Brüder, Sie sind Klempner.
Let me start by putting in my 2 cents on the film, and like I've mentioned at the beginning of my review, I'm very nostalgic towards it, so my perception of it is definitely skewed. I'm very biased and partial towards this motion picture in a good way, because that was the time when I must have been, I don't know, maybe 7, 8, 9, when it was available on the home video market finally, and also the Pegasus, so the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, that was the thing, and especially the first part of the Super Mario Bros. Games, which were free, the main ones on the NES. Oh, that was spectacular. It was a simple side-scrolling platformer, but at that time, trust me, it was revolutionary, it was groundbreaking, how fast it was. And to be honest, I don't play video games anymore, but I like coming back to it for a short spiel, for a short session every now and then, because it's so fast, it's
better. It's dangerous. It's hard. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels.
It's so brainless that it's just pure fun, pure entertainment. And I would say that so is the film, but even as a kid it blew my mind completely that it had almost nothing to do with the game. Many things were changed, and there was this dystopian future Blade Runner setting, a very bleak perspective of the future world, a little bit of Mad Max thrown into the narrative as well, so that was pretty interesting. because they made films for kids which were actually also for adults. They didn't care less, they didn't pull any punches, there was no censorship, and on the one hand this is a family friendly flick, but on the other hand, again, the set, the crazy ideas thrown in together, and lots of good special effects which hold up pretty well until this time. I just could not fall in love with that picture, and my love towards it has been growing ever since. That's why I like coming back to it. It is in my comfort zone, so to speak. I know what I'm getting into, I know that it will be a great ride, and maybe I'll have a chance to discover something more and also share my thoughts with you guys on my channel. So that's another value, that the tale about how great this motion picture is keeps going, it's alive, thanks to you, thanks to your audience.
This is a land that prays for a hero.
But once again, that's my take on the film, and I loved it when I was a kid. That all those films from the 80s, from the 90s, they were aimed at a little bit older audience, but kids could also enjoy them, so there was no problem with that. So you could say that as a child I was treated as an adult in terms of my viewing experience, as a part of the audience, and I loved it. I understand that many people may despise this film, it's not up their alley, but I have this nostalgic filter put on, and in hindsight probably I started developing that because I saw it when I was a kid, and I just can't fall out of love with this motion picture. It's a great combination of adventure, of a romance, there are some hilarious wacky moments, there is some crazy stuff, and all of the elements, they stick out like sore thumbs, so they completely do not go together, but somehow it works. Maybe the quirkiness of this film is its main gimmick. That's why.
Where are we?
I got a feeling we're not in Brooklyn no more.
Because it's so wacky, because it's so out of the box, it leaves an impression on you, and it did on me in the 1990s, and like I said, I like coming back to it, and the special effects hold up very well, so to me it's a no-brainer. But I hope that if you have by some miracle not seen this motion picture, you will be encouraged to give it a go, just out of curiosity alone. From me, it comes highly recommended. I will always defend this film, just like many followers, because the film, fortunately for myself and for people like me, it has developed a cult following ever since, and even there has been a special screening recently, and many people attended it, together with the directors, or at least one of them, and the director was pleasantly surprised that the film had been received so well. After so many years, it was redeeming to him. Then, in a nutshell, to sum up, I love it, I love this film, I like the game very much, so my love towards it translated into the motion picture. I hope you will decide to give it a go.
Where's my pizza?
And now let's move on to a short plot summary featured on the IMDb website. Here goes the first one. Brooklyn plumbers Mario, Bob Hoskins, and Luigi, John Leguizamo, get the shock of their life when they discover a parallel world populated by the intelligent descendants of dinosaurs. It's up to our unlikely heroes to battle the evil King Koopa and his Goomba guards, free the beautiful Princess Daisy, and save mankind in this adventure of a lifetime. And here is another one. Mario and Luigi, two wacky plumbers, undertake a daring quest to save a princess in Dinohatan, a hidden world where the inhabitants evolved from dinosaurs. Mario and Luigi face deadly challenges from a diabolical lizard king, and must battle giant reptilian Goombas, outwit misfit thugs, and undermine a sinister scheme to take over the world. The second one, courtesy of Robert Lynch.
This is crazy. We're under the river, but this can't be Manhattan. Where is this place?
Regarding the critical reception of the film, like I've mentioned before, it bombed at the box office because the budget of the film, due to the spiraling cost of the production, was around $48 million, but worldwide the film grossed a mere $20-something million, not even 21. So of course it was a major flop, it was a major disaster, and it must have been shocking to the Hollywood industry at the time, But later on, I think 2 years later, Mortal Kombat by Paul W.S. Anderson, another video game adaptation, saved the world, saved the day. And I like it also very much. Yet again, I am nostalgic about it. I saw it for the first time on the VHS tape probably, but really it's a surprisingly good martial arts flick with great fighting sequences, fighting scenes, and of course the titular song. And so on and so forth. But Super Mario Bros. Not only was a failure at the box office, but it was mostly a failure with critics. I'm not sure, but probably Roger Ebert must have hated it, because generally he wasn't a fan of video game adaptations. But right now on IMDb it has the average rating of 4.1 out of 10. To me this is outrageous, unthinkable. But it shows that many people hate it, but also it has a loyal fan base like myself. And on Rotten Tomatoes we have a consensus between the critics and the fans, because it's 29%, not too high either. But this is fantastic that this film has gained its second life later on, and right now it has been cultivated forever, and it could be considered a guilty pleasure, but also it is a classic in some books, especially in my books, that's for sure.
Our next movie is a film version of a popular video game. It's called Super Mario Bros. And it doesn't work at all.
So sometimes it does happen that a film may flop completely, it may be a spectacular failure, however later on it achieves its redemption, and the directors at the end of the day, they are happy about that, they are satisfied with their film, how much effort they must have put into that, I guess. Therefore it's fantastic that there is a happy ending to this otherwise sad story, because the directing duo quit Hollywood, or rather probably the Hollywood industry quit them, and that's a shame, because I know that there were many conflicts on the set of this film, the production was problematic, the script was incomplete, they kept adding new and new pages every day, so the cast, the actors couldn't care less.
What is this place? I don't know. This is crazy.
They stopped paying attention to that and they just played along. Some of them even got drunk on the set again just to survive to weather that experience. So it must have been very nasty. However, the end product, to me, this is mind-blowing. How wacky, how crazy it is, and how it works perfectly. All those unfitting elements which in theory shouldn't match together, somehow they do work. But that's the magic of the 1990s, I suppose, also.
You're driving like a maniac. Would you watch it? You want to drive?
I think that you can believe that it was a big budget production, although the original budget was a bit lower than those almost $50 million, because you have great special effects in this film, which hold up very well even right now. For example, not only do you have the decorations, the set scenes, the costumes, but also, for example, in this scene. So this is computer generated, this is just CGI, but it looks pretty nice. It looks realistic, if we may call it like that. Although, mind you, that the film is from 1993, when the technology was only fledgling, and we have such spectacular scenes like, for example, that morphing face from a different dimension, and also later on the transformation of Toad, one of the characters from the game. It is really impressive and pleasing to the eye, I must admit. So don't worry, in this regard, the film holds up still very well. And right now on the screen you have a glimpse at what makes this film so crazy and out of the box. Because in this scene, for example, in this car chase, it's like a combination of Mad Max and Blade Runner. Mad Max meets Blade Runner, we could call it like that, this wacky formula. And what does it have to do with the game? I was asking myself that question even when I was a kid, but to be honest, I didn't care that much, and I don't care right now, because this is the charm, the appeal of this film. The combination of different genres. And can you imagine that somebody had a look at the source material, had a look at the script, and they decided that it was a good idea to create a motion picture like this, based on a platformer, based on a simple game, the design, a world like from a fairy tale, and you get this dystopian vision of the future? I don't know, something as crazy as that. It could have happened only in the 1990s, and it did. but you can see what I'm talking about. To me as a kid that was shocking, especially that I was acquainted with the source material with the game, but this is the beauty of this film. So either you take it or leave it, you love it or hate it. This is this kind of a guilty pleasure. At that time, Jurassic Park was also the thing because it was released in the 1990s and it started the fad for dinosaurs. So I think that must have been one of the reasons why there is this Yoshi creature featured there in this form. Because it's mechatronics, it's practical effects, no CGI. It looks like it's been taken straight out of Jurassic Park. And of course, if something sells in Hollywood, you recycle. And you recycle it as long as you can't do it anymore. But you do have to admit that this dinosaur, Yoshi, looks very impressive on the screen. Especially if you take into account that it's 1993. Because it looks pretty realistic. The movements, I think that it was operated by 9 people, if not more. So they put a lot of effort into that, but it's visible on the screen. The love, the passion poured into this film.
To cram nearly 200 feet of cable and several hundred moving parts into Yoshi's 3-foot-tall body.
That's why I love the 1990s, because there was as little CGI as possible and as many practical effects as possible. So this is always great in my books. And in this scene on the screen you have another example of great CGI at work. You see? Toad is transformed into a Goomba, into this big, stupid, brainless character, or creature we could say. And thanks to that you can see how the money was spent. Although the budget blew out of proportion and it was completely out of control because of the costs running up, but you have to admire the visual aspect and the visual side of the film.
You may think of evolution as an upward process.
Moreover, the soundtrack featured in Super Mario Bros. Is fantastic. Because we have this very catchy song, Walk the Dinosaur, we also have Roxette's Almost Unreal, which, what is a pity, plays only in the credits roll, at the very end of the motion picture. And there's a funny piece of trivia connected to that, because actually that song was made for the Hocus Pocus film, and that's why we have in the lyrics Hocus Pocus. What does it have to do with Super Mario Bros? Well, maybe there is some magic, especially the Hollywood magic thrown into that, because maybe that's what got me captivated, and has kept me captivated ever since. But regarding the songs, so the first one, Roxette's Almost Unreal, goes a little bit like this. Hey, we can't stop the rain, let's find a place by the fire, so does I feel, as strange as it seems, you've been in my dreams all my life. I know when you do that hocus pocus to me, the way that you touch, you've got the power to heal. You give me the look, it's almost unreal, it's almost unreal. And the one, Walk the Dinosaur, it's something along these lines. Open the door, get on the floor, everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor, everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor, everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor, everybody kill the dinosaur. On the IMDb website there are numerous pieces of trivia regarding the production of Super Mario Bros. Because the film itself is just one big piece of trivia. Whatever could have gone wrong on the set went wrong. Everybody wanted to see the back of this project, unfortunately, but fortunately for the viewers, the audience, it doesn't translate into what is seen on the screen. You can't feel that hatred toward this film. And coming back to the pieces of trivia, here is the first one, and I will only read out several of them because we wouldn't have enough time to cover all of them, even the most interesting ones. Here it goes. Dennis Hopper described the film's production. It was a nightmare, very honestly, that movie. It was a husband and wife directing team who were both control freaks and wouldn't talk before they made decisions. Anyway, I was supposed to go down there for 5 weeks and I was there for 17. It was so over budget. So maybe, probably, the original budget was slated at $20 million and it more than doubled in the course of the production because of those unforeseen issues, the incomplete script, many changes done to the script on a daily basis overnight. It must have been a living hell. But like I mentioned, it doesn't project on the finished picture, at least not from my point of view.
This fungus is gonna kill us! We're gonna hit the end of the title with
And another one, it comes from Dennis Hopper. Explaining why he did the film, Dennis Hopper said, "My 6-year-old son at the time, he's now 18, he said, 'Dad, I think you're probably a pretty good actor, but why did you play that terrible guy King Koopa in Super Mario Bros?' And I said, 'Well, Henry, I did that so you could have shoes.' And he said, 'Dad, I don't need shoes that badly.'" Oh. But it seems that Dennis Hopper was at least aware that the film was supposed to be based on a video game, but Bob Hoskins wasn't. And here goes another piece of trivia on that. Bob Hoskins didn't know that the film he was making was based on a game, until his son asked him what he was working on. When Hoskins mentioned the film's title, his son immediately recognized it and showed Hoskins the game on his own Nintendo Entertainment System NES.
Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels is another India's exclusivity. Now you're playing with power.
Another piece of trivia regarding Yoshi. The Yoshi puppet was capable of making 64 separate movements due to 200 feet of cable cramped inside its 3-foot-tall structure. In all, no less than 9 puppeteers were used to operate the Yoshi puppet. And it required a lot of effort, but it was worth it, because on the screen it looks very real as a dinosaur can look, because after all, it's a dinosaur. But this is great, the effort, the heart put into that production, and we definitely do not get the same feeling with the current CGI, computer-generated special effects imaginary. Maybe someday Hollywood will decide to come back to the old ways of creating and making films. We shall see. Regarding the intolerable production and the conditions on the set, here's a very interesting piece of trivia. In his 2007 autobiography, John Leguizamo stated he and Bob Hoskins hated working on the film and would frequently get drunk to make it through the experience. Both men apparently knew the movie would turn out bad, so they simply tried to make the best of it. He also stated he felt one of the biggest reasons the movie turned out the way it did was because the directors wanted a more adult movie, while the studio, considering the source material, was looking for a children's film. And that conundrum is visible in here, because again, what does it have to do with the original game? It blew my mind as a kid back then, and right now I'm also perplexed that somebody greenlit the project, gave so much money for its production, and somebody accepted it. They saw the script, they saw the game, and they thought it was a great idea to create some like Blade Runner meets Mad Max film for kids. But this is just the charm of this film. Either you take it or leave it. It's up to you. In terms of the script, here's another piece of trivia. An article in Spy magazine claimed that the script was being rewritten so many times during production that the actors stopped paying attention to these daily rewrites. And like I've mentioned before, they just enjoyed the ride by drinking some alcohol before getting on the set of the film. The conditions of filming Super Mario Bros. Were very harsh, because according to another piece of trivia, in addition to breaking his finger, Bob Hoskins recalled that he was stabbed 4 times, electrocuted and nearly drowned. And that's just what happened to me, said Bob Hoskins. And another piece of trivia? One version of the script contained a cameo for Bruce Willis, where he tunneled through the air ducts of King Koopa's castle in a spoof of his role in Die Hard from 1988. And it would have been hilarious had they included something like that, because also Bruce Willis parodied his role of John McClane from Die Hard in the Loaded Weapon film, which was a spoof of action films, especially of Lethal Weapon. So that's a shame that they dropped the idea. in the course of the production. That's a shame.
What the hell are you doing?
Is this 1014 Pacific Coast Highway?
Now we have a quote from the gaming legend Shigeru Miyamoto, and it goes like this. Shigeru Miyamoto, Mario's creator, stated, "In the end, it was a very fun project that they put a lot of effort into, but also said, the one thing that I still have some regrets about is that the movie might have tried to get a little too close to what the Mario Bros video games were. And in that sense, it became a movie that was about a video game rather than being an entertaining movie in and of itself. But even the original creator admires the film, and actually, it seems that he also finds it enjoyable and entertaining. So there is always a silver lining for the directors who finish their careers with this motion picture. So it's great that even the brain behind the Super Mario Bros. Characters has a soft spot for this crazy film. It must have been a hard time for the directing duo, because another piece of trivia claims that the cast and crew disliked Rocky Moulton and Annabelle Jankel for their allegedly obnoxious and controlling behaviors, their regular rewrites of the script, and for making major changes to the film without telling each other or members of the production. And the cast started calling them names behind their backs probably, and it just escalated the things even further, I suppose. So there was no friendly atmosphere on the set of that film, but I think that in hindsight those actors who are with us, because unfortunately Bob Hoskins passed away some time ago, so did Dennis Hopper, but John Leguizamo is here, maybe they have a rosier view of the past events.
Well, I said, what's your next film? I'm doing Super Mario Bros. Oh, that's the game. Oh, what? Yeah, and this is you. And I saw this thing jumping up and down. I thought,
but one of the directors, Rocky Moulton, is satisfied with the outcome, because he says, for example, about Dennis Hopper, that he was really hard. I don't think Dennis Hopper had a clue what was going on. But according to the IMDb website, despite describing the overall experience as humiliating, Moulton is proud of the film, considering the chaos created as a result of the late and unexpected script rewrites.
What are you doing? It's okay. He's a friend.
In terms of the lost footage, which has been added to the 4K release, here goes another piece of trivia. In May 2019, fans of the film announced on their website Super Mario Bros. The Movie Archive that they were able to buy a rare VHS tape on eBay, which was initially owned by the film's producer Roland Joffe. It contained several deleted and extended scenes from the film. The fans announced that they would digitize the material with the intention of restoring it for a Blu-ray release. On June 1st, 2021, they uploaded the finished cut on their website. And right now, thanks to the physical media, it is available finally for the first time ever in, I hope, pristine, remastered quality. So I need to get my hands on that and give it a go sooner or later also, because to me it would be a great treat, and I think that for many other fans as well.
They must rescue the princess.
And this piece of trivia is pretty interesting, and it's featured on the screen. Mario and Luigi don't dress in their trademark colored outfits until 66 minutes into the movie. And this is exactly the scene that this piece of trivia refers to. So only then do they wear their typical outfit, typical clothes, taken straight from the video games. Before, I think that the color scheme for them is actually the opposite. And also in this scene you have those racket shoes, boots, I don't know even what to call them, but thanks to this footwear they are able to jump, make high jumps like in the video. So this is another point of convergence between the game and the film itself. And we also have a cameo from no one else than Lance Henriksen himself, featured on the screen right now. And actually, Lance Henriksen met his second wife, Jane Pollack, on the set. And he is in the film for, I don't know, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. That's interesting. So, short but sweet. It's a shame that the film ends with a cliffhanger, because they were hoping for the next part after the success of the first one, but of course the film bombed at the box office, so it leaves the open door towards the next adventure, which never materialized. But we do have a Super Mario film, the new one, the animated one, and I've heard it's very good, even great. But that's a shame that they never continue with that one, but it was such a crazy project that it's a surprise that it even came to the fruition at all. So it's a little bit like Back to the Future, that's what they were aiming at, that open door towards the sequel. They were sure that it would be a success at the box office, but alas, it wasn't.
I believe it. You do? I believe.
And here you have another example of pretty impressive CGI for that era, for that time. So you see there is a little bit of prosthetics, a little bit of makeup, but also computer generated effects in terms of crew pass transformation. And of course, a couple of great explosions thrown into the mix for a good measure, why not? After all, that's what the original game was about. Explosions, guns, dystopian vision of the future, car chases, shady women in nightclubs. That was all the game was about, after all, wasn't it?
Hey, watch it! What are you doing?
Here is another pretty nonsensical scenes in which the Mario brothers are stuck in a lift, and in order to get out of it unscathed, they have to put Goombas into a dance. Luigi comes up with this idea and it works. I had no idea what it was back then, I still have no idea what it is right now, but okay, you just have to take it as a whole package. But this particular scene, it has always seemed crazy to me a little bit. I've never understood it. This is pretty crazy, and they start swinging, moving back and forth because of the music, and somehow the Mario brothers managed to get out of the lift. Okay, crazy. Just yet another crazy idea, probably it was added on the spot to the script, like many other things, I presume. Also, there is a running joke in the film that the Mario brothers actually have the last name Mario. So it's Mario and Luigi Mario, but actually when you have a look at the name of the game, of the film, so that makes sense. The Super Mario Brothers. So it means that actually it is true, and I think that the creator of the game, Shigeru Miyamoto, did confirm that actually their last names are Mario. And I guess that in German it must be something like Wir sind die Mario-Brüder.
Mario! Luigi!
Sie sind auf der Spur einer entführten Prinzessin.
About music, apart from the soundtrack, the music itself was composed by Alan Silvestri. And it's just an additional value to this motion picture, how great the score is. But Alan Silvestri is a master of his craft, so I'm not surprised. So he was a perfect choice for this film, because it creates that wacky vibe, this crazy atmosphere of an adventure, of something extra, and you are just succumbed even more into this motion picture. So apart from the soundtrack, Rosette, Walk the Dinosaur, we have also this fantastic score by Alan Silvestri, which is just chef's kiss on this pretty yummy pie anyway.
Daisy!
You gotta come with me, I need your help.
What's wrong?
You're never gonna believe this.
Just a quick thing about the cast. I think that both Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo were casted perfectly, because they may not match their character from the video game, but still there is great chemistry between them, and you can see that they try to do their best despite the harsh conditions. So chapeau bas to them. Unfortunately, Bob Hoskins is not with us anymore, and Dennis Hopper, that was also a crazy role for him. He also passed away a couple of years ago, but just the duo, the Mario brothers, they do deliver. I mean, the actors on the screen, on the set, they work perfectly. They play off of each other fantastically. So that was a good choice at the end of the day. They may not look like their counterparts in the video game, but still I think that at the end of the proverbial day, it was a good call.
When did I tell you never to come up here?
Mario, I got a feeling. I got a feeling we're not in Brooklyn no more.
Thank you very much for your attention, guys. I hope that you have enjoyed my take on Super Mario Bros. Film from 1993. If you have liked my video, please give the video the thumbs up. Please share your comments under the video about the film itself, about my review, about the cast, about the problematic production, whether you are fans of it or not. If you are not subscribed to this channel, maybe please consider subscribing to it. And maybe you could also recommend this video to your friends. I hope to see you guys next time. I'll catch you up later. Maybe I will decide to review the new Super Mario Bros. Film, the animated one, because I also have it somewhere in my collection. And that would be it. Signing out, take care, thank you very much, and until next time. Cheers, bye, goodbye, Paisanos! It's the end of the Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Show!
Wahoo!
Outwit misfit hat, outwit misfit hat, outwit misfit. Quirkiness of this film, its main gimmick. The way that you touch, you got the power to heal. Shigeru Miyamoto. Car chases, shady women.
Get rid of him!
See you later, alligator.